Before you turn off the video, I want to tell you something that still makes me laugh at myself. I used to have this one chair in my bedroom that was basically a second closet. Every single night, instead of putting away laundry, I'd just stack it higher and higher. It became the leaning tower of t-shirts, and I'd wake up feeling defeated before the day even began. The worst part? That messy chair actually made the whole room feel smaller and heavier, like the clutter was pressing down on me. So here's the thing. You don't need a massive cleaning marathon to turn things around. Sometimes the tiniest actions bring the biggest sense of relief. And I'm not talking about deep cleaning your garage or hiring an organizer. I'm talking about what you can do in less than a minute. Here's a simple example. Shoes off at the door. No pile of sneakers creeping into the hallway. No mystery dirt trailing into every room. Just that one habit, and suddenly the entryway feels calmer, more welcoming. Here's the part most people miss. When you set up a little drop zone for shoes, you've basically created a clutter guardrail without even trying. And if you're nodding along thinking, yeah, but my counters are still a disaster, let's try this. Pick just one surface, any flat space you see first when you walk into a room. Clear it completely. Don't argue with yourself. Don't overthink. Just clear it. That single clean spot becomes a visual reset button. Trust me, the brain loves a clear zone, and you'll find yourself taking a deeper breath every time you walk by. Want to take it up a notch? Fold the throw blanket on the couch and toss the pillows back in place. Suddenly, the whole living room looks staged, like you've been keeping up with everything all week. I used to roll my eyes at the 1-minute rule, but when I started using it, it changed everything. If it takes less than a minute, putting away a receipt, tossing the junk mail, slipping your jacket back into the closet, you do it right now. No, I'll get to it later, because later almost always means never. That crumpled grocery receipt sitting on the counter doesn't just take up space, it takes up mental space too. Here's where it gets interesting. Once your brain gets used to these tiny victories, the bigger tasks stop feeling so overwhelming. It's momentum you can feel in your body. Now, here's the hard truth you won't hear in most cleaning videos. The free tote bag you grabbed at that event, the one you swore would totally change your life, still sitting in the closet, still waiting for its destiny. The freebies, the impulse buys, they're future clutter in disguise. And every time you say yes to one more random item, you're saying no to clear counters, calm mornings, and that sweet sigh of relief when you finally sit down on the couch. Where are you watching from? I love knowing if we're decluttering across the same city, or maybe even across oceans. And speaking of oceans, let me share another quick wave of calm you can create instantly. It's the nightly reset. 2 or 3 minutes before bed, yes, even when you're tired, you just put things back where they belong. Shoes lined up, dishes out of the sink, pillows straightened, surfaces clear. You'll wake up the next morning feeling like you already won something before the day even begins. And here's the kicker. It takes less time than scrolling your phone before sleep. But you might be thinking, what about the clutter that sneaks in without us noticing? Like that one chair where the laundry piles up, or the kitchen counter that magically turns into the family's dumping ground. The trick is to break the spell of those clutter magnets. You see a flat surface? Sweep it once a day. Don't give it the chance to become a collection zone. It's like pulling weeds before they take root. And the funny thing is, once people see one clean counter, they often feel guilty dropping stuff on it. That's how you hack your own habits. Set up the space to work for you instead of against you. Here's a curiosity spark for you. Want to know the fastest way to make a room feel instantly bigger without moving a single piece of furniture? It's not paint, it's not lighting. It's removing what doesn't belong from eye-level surfaces. The human brain processes open space as luxury, as calm. That's why luxury hotels look so pristine. There's just less stuff in view. You can create that exact feeling in your home with 5 minutes of tidying surfaces. And let's not skip the part where clutter makes us laugh at ourselves. Everyone has that random box of cords, right? Cables to gadgets we don't even own anymore, but we hang on to them just in case. Here's what I did. I gave myself 5 minutes, dumped the cords on the floor, and picked only the ones I recognized and used. The rest went into the donation box. And if you're thinking nobody will ever want them, well, maybe not. But the point is, they're not weighing down your space anymore. Here's the part most people miss. Decluttering isn't about perfection, it's about freedom. It's about looking around your home and feeling lighter, not heavier. And that's what I want for you. Those 1-minute resets, those little guardrails, those wins that build into a home that supports your peace instead of stealing it. Because when you stop letting clutter dictate the mood of your day, you suddenly get back the energy you thought you didn't have. And once you feel that, you'll never want to go back. Cooking is fun until the kitchen looks like a war zone afterward. I know that feeling all too well. Pots stacked in the sink, cutting boards sticky with who knows what, and counters that look like an explosion of spices and crumbs. For the longest time, I thought soaking dishes was the smart move. I'd drop pans in water, promising myself I'd scrub them later, and then 3 days would pass. By then, that soak had turned into a fossilization process, and I was basically chiseling food off metal. Here's the surprising truth. Soaking often makes the mess worse. Washing pans right after cooking, especially while they're still warm, takes a fraction of the effort. It's one of those habits that feels annoying in the moment, but pays off instantly. And while we're standing in the kitchen, let's talk about the hidden magic of cleaning as you cook. Picture this. The pasta's boiling, you've got 8 minutes on the timer, and instead of scrolling your phone, you're wiping counters, rinsing utensils, and tossing scraps. By the time dinner's ready, the kitchen is already halfway reset. Here's the part most people miss. It's not about working harder, it's about shifting idle moments into cleanup moments. Suddenly, post-dinner doesn't feel like punishment. But maybe the kitchen isn't your problem. It's the fridge. I can't tell you how many times I've pulled out a jar from the back that expired last year. It's not just wasted money, it's wasted space. A quick weekly fridge refresh saves you from that. 5 minutes to toss the old group similar items, wipe a shelf. You'll find it actually changes how you eat because you see what you really have. And here's a curiosity nugget for you. How many different hot sauces are hiding in your fridge right now? Most of us don't need 5. We just forget what we already own. Now, slide over to the bathroom for a second. That counter, the toothpaste tube, the half-used lotion, the stray hair ties, it's basically a stress amplifier. There's something about starting the day in a cluttered bathroom that makes everything feel harder. Use small organizers so everything has a place. The difference when you walk in? Calm instead of chaos. It's amazing how a clear sink area can lower your shoulders and set the tone for the day. And the trick is not to wait until it's a disaster. Just like the kitchen, the bathroom thrives on micro habits. Here's where I used to trip up. I thought decluttering was always about the big sessions, the weekend marathons. But truthfully, the 1-minute fixes matter more in places like kitchens and bathrooms because they're high-traffic, high-energy spaces. A nightly 2-minute sweep in the kitchen and a quick counter reset in the bathroom means you never spiral into overwhelm. And let me toss this in because it's a game changer. Skip the dish soaking entirely. Don't even let the sink become a holding tank. Wash right away, or at least rinse and stack neatly so the kitchen doesn't scream at you when you walk by. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You wouldn't put it off until next week. The reward is that you're not embarrassed when someone drops by unexpectedly. A clean kitchen feels like an open invitation, not a guilty secret. But maybe you're thinking, well, I live with other people and they're the ones making the mess. Totally fair. That's why family teamwork in these small spaces is essential. In my house, it's little things. Someone clears the counter, another person takes dishes straight to the dishwasher, someone else wipes down the sink after brushing their teeth. None of it takes more than a minute, but shared, it builds harmony. Here's the part most people miss. Clutter isn't just about stuff, it's about relationships. When everyone pitches in, the home feels lighter and no one person carries the burden alone. Want to know the one object that makes the bathroom instantly calmer? A basket. Toss the extras in, extra hairbrush, extra lotion, even the stray floss picks. Contained clutter stops being visual clutter. And if you've ever tripped over a curling iron cord while rushing in the morning, you know how dangerous clutter can feel in small spaces. So as you move between your kitchen and bathroom this week, don't think, I need to overhaul everything. Think, one wipe here, one rinse there, one basket, one fridge shelf. The momentum adds up. And one day, you'll look around and realize that these spaces don't control your mood anymore. You control them. You know that burst of energy you get after clearing just one drawer? That sense of, wow, I actually did something? That's where the magic begins. The mistake I used to make was tackling too much at once. I'd declare war on the entire closet, pull everything out, and 3 hours later, I'd be sitting in a pile of sweaters crying into a shoebox of mismatched socks. The burnout was real. But here's the secret. Momentum comes from small, contained victories. One drawer, one shelf, one box at a time. That way, you end the day with a win, not with regret about the mountain you couldn't climb. And if you're wondering how to keep that momentum, here's the part most people miss. You have to protect your progress. The biggest mistake people make after decluttering is leaving those newly clear zones unguarded. They think, great, the counter's clean, and 2 days later, it's covered again. That's where the donation box system comes in. Keep a permanent box or bag for unwanted items in a closet or garage. Every time you come across something you don't use, drop it in. No big decision-making session, no pressure. And once it's full, it's time for a drop-off. Simple, automatic, done. One of my favorite things is how this small habit prevents decision fatigue. No more agonizing over whether to keep the 5th coffee mug you never reach for. You just put it in the box and move on. That way, decluttering becomes an ongoing process, not a once-a-year nightmare. Family teamwork makes this even more powerful. If you've ever felt like you're the only one carrying the burden of keeping things organized, you know how draining that is. But if everyone has a role, kids return shoes to the drop zone, a partner clears the table after meals, someone else starts the dishwasher, the energy shifts. Decluttering stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like a group rhythm. And honestly, turning it into a game helps. Who can reset their area the fastest? Who can find something to donate today? It sounds silly, but that shared responsibility builds not just a lighter home, but lighter moods all around. Now let me pull back the curtain on something deeper. Clutter isn't only about mess, it's about what we tell ourselves when we look at it. That pile of paper says, I'm behind. That overflowing closet says, I might need this someday. That junk drawer whispers, I don't know where this belongs. It's like a chorus of stress in the background. And every time you take one small step, whether it's tossing old receipts, filing papers, or finally letting go of the jeans that don't fit, you're lowering the volume on that noise. Here's where it gets good. Over time, silence replaces noise, and you feel it in your whole body. I had a friend who swore she couldn't declutter because she didn't have the time. We tried something different, just the 1-minute rule applied to her desk. Anytime she touched something, she either filed it, trashed it, or placed it in her donation box. 2 weeks later, she walked into her office and didn't recognize it. She said, it feels like I can breathe in here for the first time in years. That's the power of tiny, consistent habits. Now let me throw a curiosity spark your way. What's one small thing in your home you've been meaning to get rid of for months, but it's still sitting there? Maybe a kitchen gadget, maybe a stack of magazines. That item isn't just taking space, it's stealing peace. Imagine how good it would feel if it was gone tonight. And let's not skip over the clear zones idea. Keeping one drawer, table, or counter absolutely clear isn't just about appearances. It's a daily reminder that order is possible. It's your visual anchor. On the days when everything feels messy, you can look at that one space and remember, I've got this. I know what calm looks like. And that little reassurance keeps you from giving up. Here's the kicker. You don't have to change everything at once. Swap one bad habit for one good one. Instead of leaving snack wrappers on the couch, sip a cup of tea that leaves no trace. Instead of piling mail on the table, open it by the recycling bin and deal with it immediately. These swaps are small, but they stack up, and soon your home starts to feel like it's running itself. So when you think about decluttering as a whole, don't picture a giant project. Picture a rhythm of little actions: donation box waiting, clear zones shining, family helping, habits swapping. That rhythm builds a home that doesn't overwhelm you, but supports you. A home that feels like it's finally giving back. One day, your collections might feel more like a burden than a treasure. I learned this the hard way when I helped a relative sort through decades of belongings. Every shelf was packed, every drawer stuffed, and every object carried a story. At first, it felt like we were uncovering a museum of memories. But soon, we realized something difficult. Most of those items had little value to anyone else. The furniture that once cost a fortune was worth pennies at resale. The china sets no one wanted, the trinkets, the endless piles of paper, they weren't just things, they were heavy anchors. And in that moment, I saw how easily love for our possessions can turn into stress for ourselves and for our families. Here's the hard truth. Market value rarely equals personal value. That massive oak cabinet, worth far less than you think. But the tiny photo tucked in a frame, priceless. This is why decluttering later in life is not about getting rid of everything. It's about choosing with intention. It's about asking, which pieces tell my story best, and letting those shine while letting the rest go. And here's the part most people miss. Your memories live in you, not in things. A photo album is beautiful, but the laughter at that birthday party, the smell of your grandmother's kitchen, that's carried in you, not in the plates on the shelf. I've seen families torn apart by clutter, not because of fighting over items, but because of the sheer burden of sorting it all. Imagine your loved ones already grieving, then facing an attic full of boxes to decide what to keep, what to toss, what to sell. That's not the gift you want to leave behind. Decluttering now, choosing what matters, donating the rest, is actually one of the kindest things you can do. You're saying, I value peace over possessions. I want to leave clarity, not chaos. And here's where it gets really beautiful. When you pass down a few meaningful items, just a few, with personal notes attached, those items become treasured. A necklace with a story written in your own words, a cookbook with your handwriting in the margins. Those are the things that live on. But a whole collection of figurines that nobody has space for, that often ends up boxed, resold, or sadly discarded. The magic isn't in keeping everything, it's in keeping the right things. Clutter doesn't just weigh down the home, it weighs down the body too. Studies have shown that too many belongings increase stress, overwhelm the brain, and yes, even increase fall risks for seniors. A cluttered walkway can turn dangerous. A crowded counter can add confusion. But when you clear those spaces, something shifts. The home feels safer, the mind feels lighter, and the body relaxes. Here's the curiosity spark. Did you know that simply reducing clutter in your bedroom can improve sleep quality? It's not just comfort, it's biology. The brain rests better when it isn't scanning chaos. I've also heard people say, but my children will want this someday. And the truth? Most of the time they won't. Younger generations live lighter. They value experiences over stuff. So instead of holding on to everything, select the keepsakes that truly carry your story and let go of the rest. This isn't about losing your past. It's about freeing your present. It's about recognizing that love isn't stored in objects. It's carried in relationships and moments. Here's the part most people don't realize. When you let go of clutter, you're not erasing history. You're honoring it by choosing what matters most. A box of digitized photos can carry thousands of memories in a tiny space. A single handwritten letter can say more than a whole trunk of memorabilia. And the best part? You'll enjoy those keepsakes more when they're not buried among dozens of less meaningful things. So let's circle back to you. Maybe your home isn't bursting at the seams yet, but imagine the calm you'd feel if every surface was clear, if every drawer had breathing room, if every object in your home actually earned its place. That's the kind of peace we're working toward. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about celebrating each step, no matter how small. And remember, rest is part of the process. Decluttering is easier when you're well rested because clarity takes energy. Don't push yourself to the point of burnout. Take breaks, breathe, and notice the wins. Folded throws, a clear counter, one box dropped off at donation. That's victory. Celebrate it, because each step is building a home that supports you instead of draining you. At the end of the day, that's the real goal. Not just a tidier house, but a home that feels like peace. A home that gives you energy when you walk in instead of taking it away. A home that carries your stories with intention while leaving space for joy today. That's the gift of decluttering. Not just for you, but for everyone who shares your space and for the loved ones who will one day carry your story forward.